You don't actually lack discipline, you negotiate. Every time you say, "I'll start in 5 minutes. Let me check one thing first. I'm not in the mood." That's not laziness, it's a negotiation happening inside your head. And most of the time, you lose. Today I want to show you why that negotiation exists and how to end it, using something extremely small. 2 minutes, that's it. Here's what usually happens. You sit down to study, you open your laptop, and instantly your brain says, "Do we really have to do this right now?" Not aggressively, not dramatically, just subtly. It offers alternatives, comfort, delay. You start bargaining. "I'll just watch one video. I'll clean my desk first. I'll start at 7:30. This feels harmless, but here's what's actually happening. Your brain is trying to reduce discomfort. Starting is uncomfortable. Uncertainty is uncomfortable. Effort is uncomfortable. So instead of refusing the task outright, it negotiates. And negotiation feels productive, but it's still avoidance. Notice something. You rarely struggle once you're already doing the task. The hardest part is almost always the first minute, not the work, the entry. That's important, because it means the problem isn't effort, it's friction. Think about this. When you imagine studying, your brain doesn't picture one small action. It pictures 2 hours, mental strain, possible failure, boredom. That image creates resistance, so your brain pushes back. Negotiation begins. But what if the entry cost was almost zero? What if the task wasn't study biology? What if it was open the notebook, read one paragraph, write one sentence? Now your brain has less to argue with. This is where the 2-minute rule comes in. The rule is simple. Make the starting version of your task so small that it feels almost stupid not to do it. 2 minutes. That's the commitment. Not finishing, not mastering, not grinding, just starting. 2 minutes of studying, 2 minutes of writing, 2 minutes of cleaning. Why does this work? Because your brain can't justify a dramatic negotiation over something that small. It can argue against 2 hours. It struggles to argue against 2 minutes. Let's say you've been avoiding an assignment all day. It feels heavy, intimidating, vague. Instead of saying, "I need to finish this tonight," you say, "I will write one messy sentence." That's it. No pressure, no outcome expectation, just one sentence. What usually happens? You keep going. Not because you forced yourself, but because momentum replaced resistance. But here's the part most people miss. The 2-minute rule is not about productivity. It's about identity. Every time you negotiate and delay, you reinforce a pattern, not just a habit, an identity. You quietly tell yourself, "I'm someone who avoids." And the dangerous part is, you don't even notice you're teaching yourself that. Every postponed start, every "I'll do it later," every small retreat, it adds up. Now here's the shift. Every time you start, even briefly, you send a different signal. I'm someone who begins, not someone who finishes perfectly, not someone who feels motivated, someone who begins. And that distinction matters more than you think, because starting is the identity of disciplined people, not intensity, not long hours, not bursts of motivation. Starting. Small starts build trust with yourself, and self-trust is more important than motivation. Motivation is emotional. It rises and falls. Self-trust is structural. It compounds. When you repeatedly prove to yourself that you can begin, even for 2 minutes, your brain stops questioning you. That's what high performers actually protect, not intensity, consistency. And consistency is just identity, repeated. Here's how you use this practically. Step 1. Shrink the task aggressively. Make it so small it almost feels silly. Open the notebook. Write a single sentence. Start the timer for 2 minutes. That's enough. Step 2. Remove outcome pressure. The goal isn't to finish or get it perfect. The goal is simply starting. Nothing else matters in that moment. Your brain just needs the first move. Step 3. Stop at 2 minutes if you want. Seriously, you're allowed to stop. There's no obligation to keep going. That's important, because the win isn't finishing. The win is ending the negotiation. proving to your brain that starting doesn't have to be painful. Once the negotiation disappears, action becomes normal. Momentum follows naturally, and the habit of beginning, even briefly, slowly compounds. You'll notice starting gets easier. The barrier shrinks each time. You don't need more discipline. You don't need a better playlist, or a new planner, or a motivational speech. You need fewer internal debates. The more you negotiate, the weaker your self-trust becomes. The more you start, even in small ways, the quieter your mind gets. So tonight, don't promise yourself a perfect study session. Just promise 2 minutes. Collapse the debate. Open the notebook. Write one sentence. And let momentum do what motivation never could. Try this tonight. Not tomorrow, not next week, tonight. Shrink the task. Start for 2 minutes. See what happens. Notice how your mind responds. Notice the quiet shift when the internal negotiation fades. If this made something click for you, subscribe. We're building discipline differently here. Not louder, not flashier, not faster. Smarter, intentional. One theory at a time. And remember, it's not about forcing change. It's about creating small, consistent wins that build trust with yourself. That's the real power of starting.